Scattered across the abyssal plains are objects that shouldn't legally exist. These are 5 advanced technologies, sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and the terrifying, valuable secrets locked deep inside them. Stay and feed your curious mind, because hidden down in 95% of Earth's unexplored deep oceans, thousands of feet beneath the breaking waves, lies a dark, silent museum of human ambition. From ancient mechanical anomalies that defy the timeline of history to lost Cold War doomsday devices, the seafloor holds secrets worth billions of dollars. Let's go. At number 1, the ancient computing paradox. In the spring of 1900, off the coast of a tiny Greek island named Antikythera, a group of traditional sponge divers, sheltering from a violent storm, decided to plunge into the freezing waters. What they discovered, 60 meters below, wasn't just a shipwreck. It was a temporal paradox that would completely rewrite the history of human engineering. Amidst a graveyard of ancient Roman luxury goods, statues, and marble columns, a diver spotted a strange, calcified lump of rock and bronze. To the untrained eye, it looked like a worthless piece of corroded metal. But when scientists cleaned away centuries of marine growth and placed the artifact under advanced X-ray tomography, what they found sent shockwaves through the global scientific community. Inside this single, compact wooden box were over 30 intricate, hand-cut bronze gears, interlocking with microscopic mathematical precision. This is the Antikythera mechanism. For decades, historians believed that complex mechanical clockwork of this caliber was invented in Europe during the 14th century. Yet, this device was sitting at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea since the 1st century before Christ. It was an analog computer, built over 2,000 years ago. But what was inside it, and what was it computing? By turning a single hand crank on its side, the user could calculate the exact positions of the sun, the moon, and the 5 planets known to the ancient world with flawless accuracy. It tracked the exact 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games, and features a highly sophisticated planetary gear system capable of calculating the irregular, shifting orbit of the moon, a mathematical concept Europeans didn't master until nearly 2 millennia later. The inner workings reveal an extraordinary level of metallurgy and mechanical drafting that vanished from the human record shortly after its creation. Who built it? Was it the legendary mathematician Archimedes, or a forgotten ancient engineering guild whose knowledge was entirely wiped out? If one such computer existed, how many more were lost to the waves? The Antikythera mechanism proves that humanity possessed high-level computation thousands of years before the Industrial Revolution, leaving us to wonder, if this technology had never been sunk, where would human civilization be today? At number 2, the CIA's $3 billion claw. In March 1968, at the height of the Cold War, a Soviet strategic ballistic missile submarine known as the K-129 mysteriously vanished into the deep North Pacific. It carried 3 nuclear missiles, operational codebooks, and highly classified cryptographic gear. The Soviet Union launched a massive, desperate search, but their ships turned up empty-handed. They had completely lost their crown jewel. The United States military, however, had a secret weapon, an elite network of underwater acoustic hydrophones. They tracked the exact acoustic ping of the submarine's implosion, locating the wreckage 3 miles deep, far beyond the reach of any standard salvage operation on Earth. What followed was one of the most audacious, expensive, and covert engineering projects in human history, Project Azorian. The CIA realized that if they could secretly raise the sunken submarine to the surface, they could steal the Soviet Union's most guarded nuclear secrets, radio codes, and engineering manuals. But how do you lift a dead 10,000-ton steel submarine from 16,000 feet below sea level without the Soviet military noticing? The United States government approached an eccentric billionaire named Howard Hughes. Together, under the guise of an offshore commercial ocean mining operation, they spent over $350 million, equivalent to nearly $3 billion today, to construct a massive, custom-engineered ship called the Hughes Glomar Explorer. Hidden beneath the ship's hull was an enormous mechanical steel claw codenamed Clementine. In the summer of 1974, the ship positioned itself directly over the radioactive graveyard of the K-129. The giant claw was lowered on miles of heavy steel piping into the freezing, high-pressure dark. Clementine clamped onto the hull of the Soviet submarine and began the agonizingly slow process of lifting it back to the surface. But midway through the 3-mile ascent, a critical mechanical failure occurred. One of the high-tensile steel arms of the claw snapped under the unfathomable weight. The submarine fractured in half. The rear section, containing the highly coveted nuclear missiles and codebooks, slipped from the claw's grasp and plummeted back down to the abyssal plain, destroying itself upon impact. However, the front section remained trapped in the claw. Inside that recovered fragment were the bodies of 6 Soviet sailors who were buried at sea by the U.S. military with full honors, alongside advanced top-secret acoustic torpedoes, structural engineering manuals, and specialized navigational hardware. To this day, the exact items pulled from the Pacific depths remain heavily classified, locked inside the deep vaults of the CIA, a testament to a $3 billion engineering gamble that lies half recovered and half buried at the bottom of the world. At number 3, the moon rockets in the deep blue. In July 1969, 3 men sat atop a skyscraper-sized pillar of controlled explosions known as the Saturn V rocket. It was the most powerful machine humanity had ever built, designed to blast the Apollo 11 crew directly to the surface of the moon, generating an unfathomable 34 million newtons of thrust. The rocket's first stage booster used 5 colossal F-1 rocket engines to tear through the Earth's atmosphere. But just 2 minutes and 41 seconds into flight, its job was done. The massive booster detached, falling backwards through the sky at thousands of miles per hour, eventually slamming violently into the Atlantic Ocean. For over 40 years, these legendary pieces of aerospace engineering lay forgotten under 14,000 feet of crushing saltwater pressure, battered by ocean currents and slowly dissolving into history, until an aerospace enthusiast with unlimited resources decided to change everything. In 2012, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos secretly funded a high-tech expedition to find them. Utilizing advanced sonar mapping and deep-diving remotely operated vehicles, the team scanned the pitch-black ocean floor. What they found was an alien landscape of shattered aerospace components. The impact with the ocean surface had been so brutal that the massive steel structures were twisted like soda cans. But what was inside them, and why salvage them? Inside these corroded hulls lay the ultimate secrets of 20th century metallurgy. Engineers in the 1960s designed these components using high-temperature nickel alloys like Inconel to survive pressures and temperatures that would liquefy standard metals. By raising these engines from the deep sea, forensic engineers were able to examine how these structures held up against both extreme spaceflight and 40 years of deep-sea corrosion. Today, these salvaged artifacts stand as a haunting bridge between the 2 great frontiers of human exploration: the endless vacuum of outer space and the crushing, uncharted depths of our own oceans.